Okay, I think we are live. Let me double check. Let's see here. Okay. Um, Bear with me, guys. I think we are live. Having a little bit of tech issues this morning, so we'll make sure we get past this here. All righty. Okay. All right. I think we are live. So cool. Awesome to have you guys hopping on. Let me just do one other thing, and we should be good to go. Okay, awesome. So, quick favor before we get started, if you are on the call and can see my screen and also hear me loud and clear, please let me know or send through a double yes. And if I can get one or two, preferably two, to let me know that we can get on with this call. So, if I can get one or two people letting me know that you can hear and see my screen loud and clear. Well, not loud, but clear. Sweet. Okay. All right. Okay. Awesome. Looks like I got at least one person telling me that they hear and see me. So, awesome. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Okay. We're gonna do one more thing. Sorry, guys. Du-du-du. All right. Now let's see. Okay. Now I want to make sure we have this. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Looks like let me just turn off my phone. Man, we be getting a lot of phone calls today for some reason on my website. Let's see. All right, give me just a second. I'm just turning on my phone. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for this call. This call is going to be about positioning strategy. Having the right mindset can help you create a successful internet marketing campaign. And I guess really what I want to say with that is that not just having the proper mindset just for internet marketing, but just having the proper mindset when it comes to overall marketing in general. One of the biggest things that I feel like one of the probably most overlooked things when it comes to marketing, especially as investors, wholesalers, rehabbers, whatever your investing strategy is so many times we get caught up in the traditional sense of how we market, which again is nothing wrong with that. It's great. Direct mail works, internet marketing works, YouTube works. I mean, as long as you're marketing, I mean, you should be getting some type of traffic. And what I mean by traffic is either getting people to your website or getting people on the phone, right? It's about consistency. But to me, what I really want to talk about today is really working effectively, efficiently. Okay, positioning yourself to where you're at the right place, and really, and that's really what it comes. That's really how you better convert your leads is simply going where your customer is at. You know, to me, it's not about trying to market everywhere you can because everybody else does or because discourse does. Because I think as real estate investors, we've been kind of taught certain things, which again, they're all great. There's value to how it is, but to me, how much better would it be for you to be able to focus 100% on where your customer is going, and then simply positioning yourself there, not chasing them down. So that's what this call is about. That was a pretty long summary and entry, but that's what this call is about. Just really helping you. And this call should really help you become a better marketer, not just with your website, but just overall a better marketer. And it'll help you create the right message that will have an impact, messages that will pull people in and really just engage with you. Okay. So a lot of this stuff is just psychology. And that's something that we all need to have at least a somewhat of understanding on is that marketing is psychology. If you can grasp that, again, that can be a total big advantage. So I know when I teach this on the one-on-one strategy calls, it's always really eye-opening for a lot of our clients or investor care members, and I know that you'll benefit from this call. So before we hop in, just some quick housekeeping stuff, some brand new carrot casts. I'll go from left to right. How simple math can turn your big paid marketing into a big winner. And that's with Trevor. And also real estate conversion copywriting, how to sell a click with your meta description SEO tag title. That's one of the things that I've probably covered numerous times on the coaching calls. How how to sell the click is how I always like to put it. And so we kind of put that into a blog format, and really helps, again, back to mindset. So many times we get caught up in the SEO aspect or PPC aspect, Facebook, but yet really not looking at it from the user experience point of view. How to look at it from your customer's point of view, right? So check out that blog post. And then another one, I need to check this out. I haven't yet, but Jack Bosch. I'm not sure how many of you guys know him, but he's great at teaching the land investing strategy, but also the way that he teaches wealth. I love the way he teaches that. So check that out. And I think he offers a free book. I could be wrong, but check it out. I could be wrong. But I believe I did see that he offers one of his books, which I actually have. And funny thing, I didn't know he's the one that wrote it, but I know I had picked it up at one point. It's kind of equivalent to Rich Dad, Poor Dad's cash flow quadrant. So, but I just like how Jack breaks that down. So check those out. Again, new content to check blah, blah, blah. New content to check out this week. So all great stuff. So always challenge yourself to learn, and you'll enjoy those. So let me I'm just gonna check one other thing here. Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. Weekly dose of awesomeness. This one came from Rodney. Love this. Jake along with all the other staff members really are relatable and just human. I have the most basic plan ever, but they treat me like I'm the #1 investor in Kansas City. Unlike other companies that are extremely robotic and give the most generic responses or script responses, Carrot staff is like talking to one of your friends that are smarter than you, but they don't look down on you and help you with whatever you need. And that comes from Rodney. And I love this because, of course, in today's world, technology has played a big role. And I totally understand the need for technology in terms of maybe support. So that plays a role. But one of the cool things this year that as a team, as a company, has been to, let me see if I can find our vision or our mission here at Carrot is to add humanity back to the business and help people. Let me read it better. Hold on, guys. I have it up on my wall. So add humanity back to business and help people regain more precious time for the things that matter in life. So love that testimonial. Call it testimonial or dose of awesomeness from Rodney, because that's a big part of it. I'm still kind of old-fashioned in terms of getting that one-on-one support, and that's why I love the one-on-one calls. We're able to dive in personally with your marketing and make it very specific to you, because not every marketing is going to be black and white. There's a lot of different factors, and those are the stuff that we love helping with. So thank you, Rodney, for sharing that. And trust me that this one means a lot to the whole team, just because, again, it fits into what our mission is. So thank you. All right. So I didn't hear the author's name. Jack Bosch. Usually I like to say these but since we're just barely getting started. So yeah, there you go. Jack Bosch. They're on the right. So Jack Bosch. All right. So awesome. So would love to know before we get started, whose first time is it? I don't know if that makes any that didn't sound right when it comes out of my mouth. Um gram just the way it doesn't come out, it's coming out weird. If this is your first time on a coaching call, let me know. We want to welcome you in. We want to say welcome you into your coaching call. So if this is your first time on a coaching call, maybe your second time, please let me know. We want to say hello and send some cool positive vibes towards you and just welcome you to your first call. And hopefully this will be your one of many times that you'll be jumping on the call. So let me know. Awesome. So already we got Kevin, first time. Tanya, and I'm bad with names, guys. So any of you that have been on these calls consistently, you know that is true. So I'm not sure if that's Tanya or Tanya. So either way, welcome. And super sorry if I'm killing your name. So yeah, anybody else that is brand new, please let me know. We want welcome you. And again, everybody, welcome everyone. Welcome Kevin and Tanya into the call. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, back to what I was saying, I really kind of want to dive in into the training, but also really kind of go over some questions that you might have. So make sure you guys have them ready for the end of the call. So make sure you guys are sticking around. Make sure that you got some. If you have questions, if you're diving in, you're just getting started. There's some questions you have. Make sure that you're ready to ask them at the end of the training portion of this call, and would love to dive into some live analysis. So, anyways, so what we're going to really talk about is going to be, again, more having the positioning mindset. Reason why sometimes people, I believe so many times people get intimidated by the word SEO or pay-per-click. Because there's so much chatter out there, how it's hard, it doesn't work. Just so many, there's always two ends of it. Then there's people that say they love it, it's all they do. And really when it comes down to is really, why does it work? Why is SEO so effective? Why is pay-per-click a great way to start generating leads now while you're working on your long-term strategy, which is SEO, right? And to me, it comes just to kind of cut to the chase. It's just positioning. I wish I could have made a slide about this, but look at this analogy. I've been using this analogy in my one-on-one strategy calls. Is pretend that you're the most stable person, okay? But life happens. You get busy, things come up, and we tend to kind of push things aside. But let's say that you're driving on a freeway, interstate, and all of a sudden you see that your gas is on empty, and what happens is, like, okay, now like you're really fuming on, you're riding on fumes. I think that's the proper saying. And what happens is now, like, you got to take action. All right, so you're gonna run out of gas on the interstate or on the freeway. So what happens is you're probably gonna get off that. You're gonna first of all get off the first ramp, and once you get off that ramp, you're probably gonna find the nearest gas station to you. That's most convenient. So more than likely, it's gonna be a gas station that's gonna be on your right side, because it's so again. And why is it you chose this gas station, right? Even though, let's say that you're a big Chevron guy or BP guy, but at this point, all those go out the door. Okay. At this point, you don't care. You just want gas. You don't really care that the store offers fountain drinks or snacks. All you care about is gas. Okay. And why did you choose that gas station? Was it because they had the prettiest sign? Was it because whatever, did they have a restaurant built in with it? No, it was because they were most conveniently positioned. Okay. And to me, that's how you're going to find the best leads. So that store or that gas station who has that prime position, is going to always be successful, even though they may not be the prettiest. They may not, as long as they put up a sign that says gas, they're going to probably do well. So, and that's really what our jobs is as marketers is, how do we position in a place to where you're going to likely gain customers that are running out of gas. Okay. So kind of look at that analogy, guys. And if you can learn that concept, you'll become a really great marketer. Doesn't matter if you're doing direct mail, doesn't matter if you're, regardless of what marketing you do, if you can understand positioning, you're going to always find the right place to put your marketing, or you're going to always know which platform is going to be best, and then which platforms that you might have to just be a little bit patient with, right? So that's what I mean by positioning. Prospecting is more or less, I would consider prospecting more outbound marketing. So for an example, I tell people on these one-on-one calls is, hey, how bad do you need to do a deal? Okay. If you need to do a deal in the next 30 days, you probably can't be focused on positioning, because positioning is, can take some time unless you're doing pay-per-click. Okay. So, and I'll explain more about that. But prospecting would be knocking on doors, making cold calls, right? So you're proactive, so there's a time in your business to where maybe you will be prospecting, where you will probably be doing the less desirable ways of marketing. But, that's just because you're working towards that end goal, which is positioning. And when you get to that end goal of positioning, that's when you really begin to, things begin to really come together and work. So for an example, like me personally, I have 2 markets I'm in right now. One is in Pennsylvania. My website is ranking #1 in a very good market, and took us about 7 months probably to get to that #1 spot on page 1. And now that website works for us 24/7. I mean, we had a really, really great month. And part of that is just because we just positioning, the power of positioning, and we're hands off now. So, and then we're in another market in Ohio. I was kind of struggling to find a good team, but I really think I found my 2 people that's helping me run with it. I mean, so my problem there was not because I was wrongly positioned. I'm positioned right. My website's ranked #1. I just didn't have a good team in place like I do in this other market. But now I feel like I found it, and now we have 2 deals that are locked up, that we locked up just in the last week. So there's a lot of different factors on what brings success in terms of lead generation. So there's the pre-traffic. And then there's, the follow-up, what happens after you get that lead through. So, but just kind of want to explain just real quickly the difference between prospecting and positioning. And really the focus of this call is going to be more about positioning, because I want you guys to create that mindset. This is not some rah-rah mindset, but it's more psychology and understanding how to look at your customer. Because if you understand your customer, then you know how to communicate, you know how to craft your messages, your conversion rate will likely and more likely increase. Okay. So anyways, so that's kind of to break it down. So here's a great quote I just heard. I think it was just yesterday or today. And it really stood out to me because this is the #1 thing that we probably are so guilty as investors, or really as marketers, and as we're investors. So this quote I heard was, there's no strategy behind your truth. Okay. Now, I don't know how that was supposed to be used, but the way that spoke to me is, there's no strategy behind your truth. The way that I kind of took it was, so many times our own truth kills strategy, meaning our preferences, how we look at things, what we perceive will work. And so basically putting our own preference, our own taste into the way we market. And a lot of times that takes us, that probably takes us more or less effective, because one, we're not putting our customer first. Okay. We're not looking at things from their perspective. And that's really what this call is about, is we have to learn to look at things from a seller's perspective. Because if we don't, we'll never craft those right messages. We'll never really market in the right place. Okay. Because if you can know someone's problem and you know how they deal with that problem, you can sell them that solution all day, just simply because you know, again, the problem and you know where they go to find that problem. Right. So it's one of those things, again, if you can understand this, you definitely can have an edge. So there's no strategy behind your truth. So meaning, stop looking at things from your point of view and start learning to look at things from your customer's point of view, or in this case, a motivated seller. Okay. So there's no strategy behind your truth. That's really powerful. I thought it was really cool. So, so part of this is really going to be understanding the 80-20 rule. I'm sure everyone on this call knows the 80-20 rule, you know, the Pareto principle. You know, 20% of input, whether that's your time, your resources, your money, effort, whatever, accounts of 80% of your results, your rewards. Okay. So for me, one of the biggest things that I should have wrote this down, but I would love for you guys to write it down, is it's not about marketing everywhere. It's marketing in the right place. Okay. Now you might find yourself in a position to where, like, when you're starting out a new business, you got to just hustle. You got to do what it takes. So there might be a point in your business to where you have to market everywhere. Sometimes you do have to kind of throw your marketing out there just to see what works. And I totally get that. But when you do that, it should be with intent of really kind of figuring out what will work specifically in my market. Okay. So it's not like you're just by focusing on the website will make you successful because it's better than direct mail, right? You'll be surprised how in some markets direct mail is going to be your 20%, or it's going to be your 20 that produces your 80. In some markets, it's going to be bandit signs that produces your 80%. So it's learning how to identify, but first it's discovering what is it that works. Okay. So now that brings us back to understanding the mind of your motivated seller, you know, and the mindset sometimes is different when it comes to the type of market you're in. You know, like for an example, if you're in a community of 20,000 people versus 100,000 people, you know, the mindset is different. And it's not, and when I say that, it's not that one is better than the other. It's just people based on their environment are gonna look at things so much differently. You know, that's why it's always funny. Like me personally, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. You know, I'm a city boy. And me and my wife, we moved to West Virginia to do some what do you, I don't want to call it a mission. It wasn't really a mission. We just kind of did some volunteer work. And West Virginia definitely is not the city life. And that's not to say it's bad. I'm not making fun of that. You know, it's more laid back. It's more rural. People are more personable. So to me, it was a big culture shock. Okay. So again, and to explain that, when I start marketing in West Virginia, I couldn't treat West Virginia the same way I would treat Phoenix. You know, it's a whole different mindset. And those are the things that you need to identify who's my motivated seller and what's their typical behavior in my market. You know, so I can teach you guys all this stuff. You can copy my formula, but the formula I've created really is what suits best for my market. Right. So that's things to always look at. Don't look to just copy and just follow other people's lead. Again, there's a place to where you can do that. There's a time that you can actually do that where you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like the Investor Carrot website. There's no need to go out and build a website that you have no idea that's going to perform for you, because Carrot's already figured it out. That's why many of you are using Carrot, because you're not having to reinvent the wheel of producing or building out a lead generation performance-based website. So those are things that are great to leverage. But a lot of times in marketing, when you just copy other people and what they're doing just because they say it works, sometimes you might go down that wrong road and wondering why it's not working. Okay. So I always think of the 80-20 rule in the back of your mind when it comes to what works best. And that's where you want to focus your efforts. Okay. Because as you target, do highly targeted marketing, that's where you're going to get your best results. Okay. So, getting ahead of myself here. Any questions on that? First of all, are you guys all familiar with the 80-20 rule? Have you guys heard of that? Would love some feedback and what your thoughts on that is. Again, would love to get some feedback and some engagement in this call, because again, at the end of the call, or at the end of the training of this call, we'll do some live Q&A, or I'll answer some questions. Also, if you guys want me to dive into your website, we're going to do that as well. So, but really would love to have you guys engage and give some feedback. But yeah, so the 80-20 rule really is great. And there's a great book out there by Perry Marshall that I encourage you guys to, if you're a reader looking for a book to help you in your marketing, Perry Marshall has a great book on the 80-20 principle in marketing. So encourage you guys to pick that up. Really some awesome nuggets in there. Great book. So Perry Marshall is his name. So it's a wonderful book. So kind of diving into now, I kind of wanted to, that was kind of just some concept stuff. I want you guys to kind of understand what I mean by positioning, why it's so important. So now I know that in the email I sent out was, what is my best lead source? Okay. What is my best lead source? And actually, I'm just going to give it to you now. My best lead source have always been Google. Okay. So I can easily just tell you that, and then you guys go to work on your SEO and PPC just because Adrian said Google's the best. But the reason why I want to jump right into it and why Google's the best is, again, it goes back to the mindset. So many people say, well, I'm hearing some great things about Facebook. I'm hearing, that's where everybody's at, but if you understand the mind and we're using the motivated seller as our example in this training, just simply because that's what most of us wants and needs. But you can always think about not just a motivated seller, but understand your rent to own tenant buyer, your investor cash buyer, land seller, land buyer. Okay. So the same principle applies to anything, but we're just going to use a motivated seller as an example. So as I told you, Google is always been my best lead source. Why is that? Okay. So it's not because, if you pay for pay-per-click, that brings you leads. So yes, there's truth into that, but want to dig deeper on why. Okay. So why is Google typically best over Facebook? Okay. I'm just using Facebook because most of you are familiar with Facebook. Okay. So why is Google so effective, right? So Google has really become the new modern day yellow pages. Okay. Our society has always trained to look to the phone book, the yellow pages, when we needed something like right away. Okay. So for an example, if your pipes burst and you needed a plumber, you probably were not looking through other, the first place and easiest place was always the phone book. Okay. So that's just kind of how society has been brought up, and as technology has changed, really Google has taken that place, with phones and mobile, with internet being like years ago, the internet was not easy access. Okay. You had to log on to AOL. You go through that login process, and there's such a task, and it was just so much easier just to pick up the phone book and find what you're looking for pretty quickly. Okay. So, but with technology, with faster and easier access, and it's almost become like the normal, everybody has internet, right? Whether it's through the library or at home, or and most recently, because of mobile, people have quicker access to internet like never before. Okay. So that's really what changes. Google has kind of become that go-to source, because that's all Google is a source. When I say Google, I'm talking about more of the search. More of the search. So what I mean by that is right here. So people come here, and that's what I mean. Google has become that search term that people are looking for. Okay, so, and it's just, our society has been trained to look at the go-to to find a service or product, or even just information, right? So, and that's why Google has been so powerful, because this is where people can go and just find what they want. Bottom line. Okay, so, and they can do it discreetly, and they can do it in a way to where they're instantly able to find quick results, like a matter of seconds. Okay, so as far as how Google works, I mean, that's a whole different call. But again, going back to the motivated seller, here's a problem that motivated seller has, and where are they going to go? Okay, so, and looking at data, Google has always been that quick solution. Okay, so, so comparing that to Facebook, let me see. Yep. Facebook. And, people say, well, I've tried Facebook, but, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, everybody's on there. You would think it's Facebook. And then, or people say, oh, Facebook is super cheap to run ads compared to Google, which I totally get the logic behind that. But again, you got to ask yourself, if someone had to sell their house fast because of the divorce, or because of being behind on payments, or, would your everyday person turn to Facebook and post something about it? Probably not likely, because our motivated seller is motivated for one reason or another. And it's probably not a situation that nobody really wants to be in. Okay. So, so to me, Facebook is more of a coffee shop. Okay. It's kind of where people go subconsciously just to hang out, right? Just to kind of relax or socialize. They're not going there because, they need a service. Now, here's the thing. That person in the coffee shop can totally go to the restroom and see a big billboard about different services, but what's the likely that they happen just to need that service at that right time? Okay. So it does happen. You can get leads. It's possible, but you have to do a really good job of getting someone's attention and making sure that you have the right message and that they take action. So basically, all the right things have to happen. So again, so now, as you understand the motivated seller, of course, you can still apply that to Facebook for sure, because if you're really good at crafting messages that can hook someone in, that can definitely be that can really help you and be beneficial. But on the front end, you're banking on the right person seeing your ads or your video, your blog post, or your website address at the right time. And which means you probably have to run ads consistently. And again, just finding that right person. So again, it's not saying Facebook is impossible, but you have to put a lot more effort into Facebook to get the results you're looking for, to where with Google, it'll probably take less effort to find that one quality lead. The way I look at it, every lead on Facebook can be potentially great. Okay. So with Facebook, I can't have the same expectations, because Facebook is not where someone goes first, at least, purposely or proactively to find that solution that they need. They're probably going to turn to Google more than they do to Facebook. Okay. So, so you can't really have expectations as far as the results goes on Facebook as you would and get the results you could from Google. So all this ties in, guys, back to the mind of the motivated seller, right? So, and this can apply to Craigslist. This can apply to other platforms maybe in your market. And that's why I kind of put in here, you got to find that right marketing channel that produces the best leads for you, Okay, so that could be SEO and PPC, which is tied into Google. It could be direct mail. Okay, and if you're using direct mail, then tie in your website into your direct mail for credibility. I know for a long time, it's the concept behind direct mail is, well, we don't want to put a website on the direct mail because it can distract from the initial call to action, which is having someone call you. But I totally get that. I understand that logic, but at the same time, is that really true in your market? Because times have changed, and mobile has changed everything. People have more access, have quicker access to the internet like never before. So what does that mean? These people might be checking up on you in a quick second. And if they're not finding anything on the internet, if they're interested, they might perceive you as not being legit. Because here's the thing, back to the mind of the motivated seller. A motivated seller does not know what we know. Okay, this goes back to that quote right here. There's no truth. There's no strategy behind your truth. So many times I was really, and let me know if you guys agree or not, but so many times we think sellers we expect them just to get it. We just expect them just to trust us. And a lot of times the argument, well, if they're motivated, it doesn't matter. Well, a lot of times as motivated as they are, people are still suspicious. When people think of real estate, people think by default traditional real estate. Or if someone hears you say, hey, I can, if you want to sell your house fast, I can help. They're probably going to, I would say 90% of the time, they're going to think they're going to automatically assume you're a realtor. Because again, it goes back to their mindset, because of the information that it's already built into their mind. And when it comes to real estate, when you say real estate, people instantly think of a realtor, okay? The everyday person, right? So we got to be careful, not just assuming that people are just going to get what we say. And really, when you think about it, guys, what we say that we can do to the everyday person, you got to think about it. It is a little bit too good to be true. You know what I mean? Like if I would, like with me personally, I think about it sometime, like, man, if I knew nothing about real estate investing or how it works, like if an investor came to me and said, or someone came to me and said, hey, I can buy your house in 7 days. I can close quickly. I can give you all cash. You don't have to fix your house. I'll just buy it as is. I would be thinking, wait a minute, what's the catch? What's the catch? Like, is this real? Is this suspicious? Is this legit? You know what I mean? Is this a scam? Those are the things that are running through the minds of motivated sellers. So that's why me personally, I love driving people directly to my website, because as you direct people to your website, what happens is that now they can navigate. Okay, they can totally navigate around your website to see how this whole thing works. That's why I begin to put in my messages, no gimmicks or catch, because those are the things that they're already thinking anyways. Okay, those are the things that's always in the back of your mind. So it's best that you just talk about it instead of just hoping that it doesn't come up. We definitely got to do a better job to be transparent with motivated sellers. But again, this goes back to the mindset of a motivated seller. Don't be afraid to bring out the skeletons out of the closet, or to address the elephant in the room, I guess is what they say. So to me, those are the important things that you have to communicate. And again, it goes back to there's no truth behind your there's no strategy behind your truth. Meaning that, how you think that a seller thinks, usually 100% we're totally wrong. Okay. So I know one of the things that I put into my forms is I ask questions. Hey, what's important to you? And a lot of times people say, you know what, I want to deal with a local company because they know my area, and I just feel more comfortable dealing with someone local. Okay. So it's always good to listen to your sellers. If you guys are just getting started with, lead generation and this business, I encourage everyone, if you're brand new, talk to every seller that you can. I don't, even if you know for a fact that it's not going to be a deal, talk to the seller. Get into their heads. Study them. What did they say? What's their fears? Because as you learn how to do that, you will do a really good job understanding them. They'll help you get out of you. Okay. So, and that's why I am so, and this ain't to brag in any way, please don't take this the wrong way, but that's why I'm so good with what I do, is because I think like a seller. And yes, sometimes we only can think so much because it's hard because we're not in their shoes, in their shoes. But I when I first got started in this business, I talked to every seller and I asked questions. First of all, I try to build good rapport with them. Like, hey, small chat, and then I just got them to trust me. Build just some just pick up a conversation, and then through that, then I would ask questions. So, hey, I'm just curious that when you first came to my website, did you feel comfortable with the information? Was there something that maybe you weren't sure about? And it's amazing, just asking one questions, they can give you 5 insights. And these are going to be insights you have never thought of. And those are the things that you begin to really use those same information to be able to communicate in your messages. That's why, even like in one of my sites, and I've seen so many people copy me on this because I share this website a lot, but that's why right here, that's how this whole saying was birthed. To sell your house and be done, right? In this market, people will tell me all the time, I just want to be done with this property. I just want to be done. Can you help me? I kept hearing that over and over. And like I said, I'm in different markets, but this market was the one that I just heard all the time. So what happens? Shoot, I put into my marketing, so now people relate to it on the other end. Like when we get that feedback, say, hey, why did you deal with us? Well, I just want to be done, just like your website says that I can be. So you see how on both ends, listening can really help open up new ways to better communicate. That's insider knowledge or inside language, I guess you could say, that really gravitate and bring in the right people, or it brings that trust. It brings that, because anytime that you can help someone relate, they feel like you relate to their situation. That's when there's more trust. They're more willing to engage with you. Okay. So again, those are the things you really want to focus on. And that's why I'm very big on, don't focus just on SEO. Sometimes I'll get on these strategy calls and people say, give me, I want to, what keyword should I be thrown into my content? And I tell them, and I try to help people understand, yes, SEO is great. It's important. It ties into positioning yourself in the right place, but you also have to always remember user experience, having this person relate to you, like, because they want to feel like you understand their situation, and you want to instill confidence in them that you can help them. Okay. So that's really at the end of the day, what someone's looking for. Not someone who's flipped 50 houses, or not someone who's done 80 deals in the last 2 years. They want to find people that they have all confidence that's gonna do what they say they're gonna do. Okay, so again, finding the right channel that produces the best leads for you. So even though here at Carrot we're big on SEO, pay-per-click, inbound marketing, don't be afraid to look outside and look at other ways to produce marketing or leads too. Again, whether it's direct mail, YouTube, Craigslist, bandit signs. I have some really good friend of mine's, a good friend of mine whose website's ranked #1. Looking at it from an SEO standpoint, his website is like crushing it, but his best leads continue to come through bandit signs. He does more deals from bandit signs than he does his website, even though his website is positioned right. But he just knows in his market, people just respond better to bandit signs, so, and that's what he's running with, so he has a good understanding of this market. And believe it or not, he knows why. He told me that, in my town, people just don't trust the internet. They just think it's just someone trying to sell them something, so it's interesting to see a community in whole, as majority just have that concept. But like in some cities, bandit signs are like, scammers. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, just the perspective. But again, if he didn't realize that or paying attention to that, my buddy could be running SEO and PPC all day long and wondering why it's not working, even though he's ranked #1. He would have thought that, man, this stuff doesn't work, but it wasn't that it didn't work. It's just not the ideal marketing channel in his particular area. So again, that's why I kept saying, understand your motivated seller. When I was in West Virginia, one of the things I did was again, very rural area. Even though I was dominating my market, I also tested a few things. Like I noticed that a lot of people like to eat out. There's a lot of, there's probably like 5 or 10 small cafes in these small towns. I was like, wow. So one idea I had was get one of those, get a bunch of paper mats, produce, and then just give them to the restaurants for free. They can put it on their tables. And then I would put my main message, but also maybe reach out to a few local businesses to see if they're interested in, splitting the costs of getting that paper mat done. So to me, that was paying attention. Hey, this is a town that a lot of people eat out a lot. It's an older community. So to me, it was a lot of probate deals, or picking up houses that are free and clear, so in that particular market, this is a demographic age bracket that just ate out a lot, because they can, you know what I mean? So, so that's how I did that. And that actually produced more leads than the website, so it doesn't sound sexy. It's, but hey, it's most effective. But again, it goes back to understanding your motivated seller at the core. And it goes back to that mindset. Okay. So, so what should you do in order to work more efficiently and start earning real profit? Really, I say master 1 or 2 channels of marketing first. If you're doing heavy direct mail, keep doing direct mail. Okay. But also start making that transition to where you start using the website more as credibility. Even though the website may not have produced a lead for you, it can help you close the deal. I know some clients that they don't care about SEO. They don't care about PPC. They're just using the website just for credibility. So what happens, they get someone who's very interested in dealing with them, but they're very skeptical. And then, but this company, they see that this company that has a website. So now in their minds, these guys are more legit than another investor who probably didn't have a website. So the website may not produce the lead for you, but it backed you up. Okay. So even though the Investor Care website is great for lead generation, that's how you want to use it. Also, don't be shy to incorporate the website into your current marketing. Okay. So if you're door knocking, tell people, hey, I'm Joe, but I know I'm just some stranger to you. Tell you what, here's my flyer. Here at the bottom, you'll see my website. You can go there anytime and just check us out. You'll learn more about who I am. Shows you that I'm legit. I'm not some creeper knocking on doors. Just be real with it. Just say, just check us out. Because that right there can make all the difference. You'll be amazed how many people look at a company who has a website as being legit just because they have a website. Okay, so again, learn how to incorporate your current marketing that you're already doing, even though it may not be online. Ask yourself, how can I incorporate my website into that? So cold calling, same thing. Call people up, say, hey, you don't know me, but if to show you that I'm legit, we're a real business, or I'm a real person. Here, check. Once you go over to my website, you'll see my mug there. You'll see who I am. But on the other end, guys, you make sure you're personalizing your website too. That's why we're so big on that. You guys need, if you guys haven't personalized your website, you guys need to jump into the carrot guide phase 1. Phase 1, we walk you through all those small elements that you can personalize that makes a huge impact on conversion. Okay, so again, it's not about trying to look pretty or taking you down that rabbit's hole of perfection. We're just showing you things that we recommend that have proven to be effective. So now you're working smart. Okay, so again, master 1 or 2 channels of marketing first. My biggest tip is learn how to tie in the website into any current marketing you're already doing while you're working on the lead generation for the long term. Okay. So again, and these channels should be great at finding your best qualified traffic. So don't just do bandit signs just because someone on Bigger Pockets or someone on Facebook said, hey, I'm killing it with bandit signs. More than likely, that person probably doesn't realize it only works. He just kind of lucked out. But that market might just be great for bandit signs. Okay. So find those channels that are going to be great. So ask questions, drive around town, see a trend. So if the biggest store in your town is the dollar store, then find a way to get some stuff around that dollar store, whether it's a brochure. I don't know if, I know I've seen some dollar stores that have the big bulletin board. Or go to the biggest grocery store. If it's not Walmart, I know a lot of the local grocery stores allow these big bulletin boards, or find the 2 biggest entrances and exits and put bandit signs up. So again, think those things strategically. And then when you get these people on the phone or they call you, they want to know this is real, this is legit, how does this work? Use the website. You see how everything comes together. Everything should always come back to the website one way or the other as a credibility factor, or a way to help you close the deal. So that's the way to think strategically, to always find ways to tie everything together. But the best way is first identify what will work best in your particular market. Okay, so don't be afraid to experiment. Sometimes you might have to market everywhere to find out what that is, but that shouldn't be your overall long-term strategy. Just kind of hope your marketing works somewhere down the road. Okay, so all right, that's really all I'm going to cover, to be honest with you. I really want to, I'm looking at the time and I want to get some diagnose in. So hopefully this helped. Is there any questions that you guys have on the psychology aspect, or any scenarios you want to give me? We can talk about it, or any feedback, or maybe anybody get some good feedback from customers that validate maybe some of the stuff we're talking about. Do you ever talk to sellers that have suspicion, even though they may be interested? So would love to get some feedback, guys. Share me some of your experiences, and also some feedback on this call to see how much of impact, how much it helps. And then of course, let's tackle some live diagnose. So if you guys want me to take a look at your website, let's do that. Let's start having you guys push some of your questions through, but make sure you're letting me know your website address, what your goal is with the website, or what you're trying to do, and what you've done so far. Okay. And please don't just throw, hey, I want more leads. That just having more leads is not a plan. Okay. And I don't mean to say it in a rude way, but everyone should have a plan before getting a website. Now, if you haven't, that's fine. That's totally cool. I'm not saying that, you shouldn't do that, but we can help you figure that out. That's what we're here for. But I'm just saying, this is a real business. So you got to treat it as a real business, meaning I probably wouldn't start a business unless I knew where I was going to market, because as you begin to have a plan, then you begin to go out and get the right tools. Because I think as investors, and trust me, I've been guilty of this. As investors, we kind of chase shiny objects, or we put too much weight on what someone says, and we try to just do what they do without giving thought to your market, what might work best, and then using tools that are going to help you accomplish your goals, not just getting tools and then trying to figure out how you can work it. You know what I mean? So like for me, before I came to Carrot, I knew I didn't want to do direct mail. I didn't want to do bandit signs. So I knew that it came down to the internet. And because I knew it came down to the internet, then I knew I needed a good website. So just by having that plan and goal, that helped me down that journey of finding the right tools to help me accomplish those goals. Okay, so that's one of the things I'm going to challenge everyone to do. So, so let's have you guys throw in some questions, feedback, experiences with motivated sellers, anything that maybe some pushbacks that they had. Would love get some feedback, because I'm still learning too, guys. So I don't claim to know it all. So I think some of the best feedback you guys can totally learn from and get is going to be directly from motivated sellers. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Build up that rapport with them. That opens up that opportunity. And sometimes just asking one question, and then just sitting back and listening, you'll be amazed the amount of great feedback that you can get just by asking one question and getting like 5-10 different insights. So awesome. Cool. Kevin, new care customer. I've scheduled a strategy call with you tomorrow. Okay, awesome. Looking forward to that. To get into details, been buying notes nationally since 1989, thousands of note purchases. Need to simplify my site, buy mortgage, update it, and maybe add a few local URLs. Looking for some help with strategy and tactics. Better discuss more. Yeah, I mean, totally. Totally up to you how you want to do that, Kevin. So yeah, so my challenge, and maybe to give you some homework from now until tomorrow, would love to know more about, I would really, so it looks like, so buying mortgages is not with Carrot yet, right? So I just pulled it up and it's a non-Carrot site. So are you looking to move that buy mortgage over to the Carrot note buying website, Kevin? Okay, so okay, yeah, so we can totally dive into that. Just would love to get some feedback. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so what I would really encourage you to do from now until tomorrow is just as we talked about in this call, was who is your perfect customer? And it sounds like you've done you've done a bunch of deals already with note buying, so you already should have some great insight on who your typical buyer is. Who's your ideal note buyer? And ask yourself those questions, like, I don't know if you guys have ever done this exercise. I'm a big proponent of it. Is I think I have some blank ones that I can, whoever's interested, I can send you guys a copy. But it's an avatar sheet. An avatar. It's an exercise that helps you identify who your perfect customer's at. What's their needs, wants, what's their demographics. I mean, it just really helps you big time dive into who they are. And you'll be amazed just by doing that exercise, just how much more insight that you have with your customer, or who that perfect customer is. And as you do that, that's when your marketing opens up. What, because you mentioned that you want to update your, some of the information on the website. Okay. So, and the best information you can update is one that relates 100% to your ideal customer. Okay. So yeah, I'm totally looking forward to that call tomorrow. The only thing I'm going to ask you to do is from here until tomorrow, learn, just do some, sometimes, because it's so easy sometimes to be doing so many deals and totally overlook some of the simplest stuff. So if you can, maybe, carve out 30 minutes, hour today, and just really think about all the transactions you've done and break down why these people bought from you. Did you make it easy? I mean, because, maybe you had the most profitable deals. Maybe it's because you got to them first, or maybe you offered something you couldn't. And as you identify why is it that you were able to do thousands of deals, that should present you with a ton of information that you can use in your marketing, right? And as you use that will help definitely relate to so much more, and you become so relevant to what someone's looking for. Okay. So a lot of times, guys, your clues on what works or what needs to be adjusted is always somehow in front of us. We just need to step back sometime and take that time to invest and ask ourselves these questions like, who is my customer? Why do they deal with me? And plus, through this whole process, it can help you identify what your unique selling proposition is too. Okay. So, something to think about too for tomorrow. So, yeah, super excited. I'm talking to you more, but that's going to be my challenge to you from here until then. Do, 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 do. Yeah, so Gary, PPC company says I might have a bit of conversion issues. If you can see anything, the comment go. Well, I mean, I would have to see the actual campaign and what they're talking about. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities when it comes to conversion. So for me, and again, that's not to discredit your PPC company, but I have found high percentage of what is perceived as a conversion always goes back to really it was a traffic issue. Okay, when I say traffic issue, I'm not talking about numbers. And PPC is a tough one. I would have to see how your PPC company is running your campaign to really know it's a conversion issue. Sometimes numbers can be deceiving. Just because, let's say you get 2,000 impressions on a certain keyword and only 2 people opted in, we think it's a conversion issue, right? Which it can be, don't get me wrong. But also, I want to ask myself, okay, what is this keyword first of all? Okay, is this keyword in line to my perfect customer? It goes back to what we're talking about. Um, is this keyword in line to that perfect customer? Okay. And one thing I found with PPC is that there's always that borderline to where the keyword, one little word can bring in the wrong people. Okay. So then now you're trusting the numbers, and then now you're thinking, okay, there's a conversion issue to really, it might be keyword that's just not for your perfect customer. Okay. So that's kind of yeah, I mean, I would need a heck of a lot more information on just simply thinking that it's an automatic conversion issue. There's a lot of times to where I swear it was a conversion issue, but the more I dug in, come to find out, wow, it wasn't a conversion issue. It's just I was just bringing the wrong people to my website, and I just had this people pegged out differently. Okay, so, but let's say that it was a conversion issue. Okay, so my question would be, how much of that traffic is coming from mobile and how many of that is coming from desktop? Okay, so that can play a role. So if my campaign manager told me, hey, 80% of your campaigners are coming from mobile, and let's say it was a true conversion issue, then I got to look at the website from a mobile perspective. Okay, so so me personally, if I were to look at your website and let's just say it was a conversion issue, let's take a look. So right here, I think you have too much stuff here. I will get rid of this because really right here, you're already communicating kind of the same thing. So it's kind of being repetitive. Local, friendly, trusted. You have trusted up here, trusted. Sometimes people think they're trying too hard. So, I totally get where you're coming from, but sometimes things can come across like you're coming across to like you're trying too hard is kind of the concept that sometimes people have. So I see trusted here, and trusted here. Okay. Yeah, I would kind of tone it down on the trusted part a little bit, maybe just at least, if anything, get rid of one. Okay. If you're having a conversion issue, I will get rid of these. right here. This is just a distraction. You know, you never know. People might get click friendly, and then they click on it. And remember, not everyone's tech savvy or website savvy. So if they're on mobile and they were to click on this, um, you know, it could be that could be an issue. You know, they might be leaving your site pretty quick because they're clicking on this and then they don't know how to get back. You'll be amazed how many people are that way. You know, so let me see. Okay, so it does open up in the right window. And then here's the thing too, Gary's like, if you're going to provide like a link to YouTube, your YouTube should really be prime. Like Gary Parker. I mean, I always like to make sure everything matches. Your branding should match. So if you're going to send people to your YouTube channel, this should say Gary Parker, because now it's just blank, right? So like for an example, I don't think I provide a link to my YouTube. Oh, I do. You see here, I provide a link, but I don't do up top. Okay. If anything, I provide it down here because I really don't want people leaving my website. You know, this is kind of more for visual credibility, you know. So, but you'll see here, if someone clicks on this, oops, that's the wrong one. YouTube. Okay. You see how that.
Do you need to sell your home, a piece of land, or commercial property quickly?
So you see how kind of the branding at least matches, you know, so at least there's some consistency there. And then there's also a call to action. You know, they can circle back to the website here. I have my hook in information in, but again, if let's say it is a conversion issue, I just don't like these up here because people can start clicking it and they leave your website. Okay. I honestly would switch the Better Business Bureau with this one. More people are going to be familiar with this than the 5-star ratings. Like, what's me personally? Like, what's 5-star rating? Google. You know, again, it's always using things that are more put in front of people that they're more familiar with, and more people are going to be more in tune with the BBB than the 5-star Google. Okay, so me personally, again, this is back to the psychology, and let me know if you're following along, Gary. It makes sense. So back to psychology. So here's the thing, guys. Someone went to Google. This is where the whole journey starts. Okay. So this is how the journey starts right here is Google. Okay. So someone puts in a keyword. Okay. I'm just going to put this in for now. So someone put this in. Remember, all these people have all these options right here. Okay. This is what someone sees. And typically people will use and click on the first thing. So right here. So these are the things that you have to pay attention to. So like in my market, if this was to rank, then I better make sure, because people are going to be seeing this. So now that seed has been planted in people's mind. Like, is this really legit? And I'm sure there's going to be some people in here that's going to say certain negative things that are just not true. So if I do a Google search in my local market and this is what's ranking, then what I'm going to do is I need to be aware of that. Okay. So, but anyways, where was I going with? Oh, here. So remember, someone does a search, and now they have all these options. Okay. So now what happens is they're going to click on it. Okay. So I'm just going to click on this, and boom, you know, people are going to start reading into this. Okay. So it looks like this is probably, me see if this is a backlink that someone's. I'm just curious if this is someone who's okay. But anyways, so this is what people are going to look at. Okay, so right here is just more informational. So this is probably not a good example. So let me just do this. Oh, it's because it's reviews. Just choose a real competitive market. So let's say someone in Charlotte. We buy houses for cash, Charlotte. So these people have all these options now to choose from. Okay, stats wise, people say that most people will not trust ads. So 80% will not trust ads. So let's just say I was part of the 80%. So I'm just going to come down. So what's going to happen is that boom, people are going to click on this, right? So I'm just going to click on this. So now instantly people have 5 seconds to determine if this is what they're looking for. Okay. So personally, so like me personally, I would see, yeah, people love to be done. so um so now people have like a couple minutes to make that decision. Okay. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, this is so similar to my website. That's the only problem sometimes when you have so many people copy. Yeah, this is very similar to my website. Um, anyways, um, so people have this couple of minutes to decide whether they're going to stay or go. Okay, so again, back to now, as far as how this converts, I don't know. Like me personally, I'm not a big fan of putting mobile to click because, I mean, you know, how's that? Like, okay, FaceTime. I don't want to open that. Especially now if I was getting a bunch of, now it makes sense on mobile, but it's just little stuff like that that can throw people off. Like right here, there's no phone number. Like, so now what happens is people might think, oh, is the only way to call these guys by mobile? But remember, I'm at a desktop. Now I can't get a hold of these guys. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're trying to get me to sign in the form, but what if I'm against that? Right. So again, it's all about perception, what people perceive to do that. So, um, it just depends, I'm sure there's a reason why, he's taking this approach. But again, I'm looking at more from a customer's perspective. What's the perception? Like me personally, this is just me. I'm always sketchy when a website don't have a phone number. Okay. And then when there's only one option and I can't do it, that makes me more. So again, that's just me. That's just thinking on top of my head. And that's the way you kind of have to think too, is what could be a seller's perspective? Because again, it goes back to people just being pure suspicious, right? Just pure suspicious. And that's the way you want to look at it. Okay. Um, so anyways, back to your website. So maybe kind of ease it down on the trusted local buyer, because you say that quite a bit here. I would get rid of this one here up here. There's no need to. Especially this one here, LinkedIn. I mean, a motivated seller is not, like I said, that's, let's see. And then, right here, I was gonna say, if you're focused on Salt Lake, I would keep the whole page about Salt Lake. So I would say we buy houses directly here in Salt Lake and not northern Utah. Because here's the thing. Again, I'm really, I nitpick. So what I'm afraid is, okay, this person says Salt Lake, northern Utah. And I'm thinking, okay, are they, because I think worst scenario, like, okay, they buy northern Utah, but Salt Lake, is that the same thing? You know what I mean? So you always want to make sure that people shouldn't have to think on your website. Things should be very simple to understand. They can comprehend it. And again, people shouldn't have to think. So just be consistent. So this one, I probably would we buy houses right here in Salt Lake and northern Utah. You're reinforcing that you're buying Salt Lake because this is what this page is about, which is Salt Lake. Okay. You oversee personal service, so I mean, what does that mean? Some people don't, some people just, are in their own bubble. So, all right. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, everything is, let's see. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not bad. But again, just I would love to know what they mean by possible conversion. I mean, there's so many things that could mean. So it looks like you already changed it. So you're already taking action. It's awesome. All right. Yep. Yeah. So start kind of there because to me, right here is what dictates everything. Right. Kind of really what dictates everything. And I would take a look at this on mobile as well and just see what it looks like. To pull out your phone and let's see. So to me, I'll pull out my phone and see what that looks like. Let's see. Oops. Yep. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, maybe we can talk. I know me and you talk quite a bit, so maybe you can give me a little bit more insight on what that is. Because with PPC, I mean, there's so many things that could be right, could be wrong. So it may not be necessary. It could be a conversion issue. Could be. I'm not taking that away, but it could be some other stuff too besides that. So obviously, if you get the wrong people in your funnel, of course, they're not going to convert. So sometimes it's looking at that first. And I know a lot of PPC companies, what they'll do is they'll start really wide. So they'll maybe use a little bit more broad searches to kind of find better searches that way. So, but I don't really think that's says the conversion issues. Obviously, if you're not bringing the right people in with the right keywords, it's just not the right people. So it's not really a conversion issue. So I'm sure we'll talk. Let's catch up and would love a lot more insight on that. Um, Ron has some questions on PPC. So Ron, yeah, Ron, we actually okay, yeah, Ron, we actually have a call that we're supposed to talk about PPC already. So if you have some specific questions, yeah, definitely shoot them through, Ron. If you have PPC questions, and Gary, let me know that you heard that. I think you do because you're making changes on it right away. So love that. Cool. Looks like Kirk. Kirk, how you doing, Kirk? Let me know if you're still on the call. Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. I'm just looking for. Cool. All right. Yeah. Give me more insight on what the PPC company said. Again, like I said, they could be right. So if they were right, those are some small details that I found. So again, sometimes I mean, I totally get like the whole thing of putting credibility stuff. We talk a lot about that for sure. At the same time, you just gotta have to trust your gut. Like, okay, what's too much? Like, I'm not a big fan of putting the Facebook page here too. So I honestly would get rid of that. Again, it's trying to keep from distracting people from leaving your website. If you are gonna put stuff like that, I probably would put it more at the bottom. Um, I honestly would say if you're gonna put your picture up, since you already have a picture up here already, I honestly would move this picture up, get rid of this one, put this one in there. Because right now there's a lot of images too. So I mean, which it could be a good thing, but it can also kind of clutter up the stuff. So um, to kind of help clean it up just a bit, I probably would just. This is a good picture of you, and yeah, I'm assuming that's your wife. Just put that in here and say, "Hey, we're the Parkers." you know, and I love that angle a lot better than just Gary. I mean, and not saying, I'm not saying you got to change your whole thing, but hey, at least in this instance, right, we're the Parkers, and then use this picture, and then at least it'll kind of clean up this area too a little bit. Um, Testimonials. Cool. Yeah, I love all the testimonials you have. That's awesome. Yep. So yeah, right here, so um yeah, just kind of maybe get rid of, like I said, I probably would get rid of at least, because you're right here, you have three. Again, I just sometimes people are skeptical when, like here's a good reason. Avis did a Avis did a study years ago to where their slogan was, they acknowledged that they were second best in the industry. So one, they showed their flaws, which is a great tactic in marketing. But two, sometimes people, when you kind of come across like, hey, we're the best, people kind of actually get turned off by that a little bit, because they feel like, okay, if you're the best, then how come I don't know you? That type of thing. So sometimes it's great to really bring out those things, but a lot of times it's just saying what you're gonna do, then say, and then trying to push yourself like, man, you can really trust me. And so it's kind of like if you're in a conversation, just imagine in a short conversation, someone told you three times that, hey, um, you can trust me. It's almost like, why do you have to keep saying that? You know what I mean? So again, little nitpicking, but just always looking at it from the point of view is like sometimes, because here's the thing, people scan information. So there's that balance between, yes, we're big on credibility, we're big on unique selling proposition, but there's that balance also just making it very simple. Um, like I said, that's why I believe this website performs very well. You see how simple it is, very simple. It's clean, simple, and sometimes that's the best solution. Even could I do better in putting more testimonial stuff? Yeah, but I think you just got to create that nice balance. Just maybe just making it simple and then just one simple picture. You know, and that's it. Just going by that simplicity. Not having to overwhelm people. So, give it some thought. You know your market better than I do, Gary. So, but that's just some things that I see that may be worth taking a look into. So, hopefully that helps. Oh, that picture is I bought a house from. Cool. All right. So it's not your wife. so, um, oh, okay. I thought I see where I said Gary and Sherry, so I thought it was just reflecting the picture. So cool. Yeah, I would get rid of this one here too. But yeah, good job, man. All right. Um, any other questions? Let's dive in some questions. Ron, if you got your PPC questions, send them through. Um, Kurt, if you have questions, let me know as well. TK, what's going on, buddy? Okay. All right. All right. If there's no questions, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna end it at an hour and a half, which is great. Yes, Kevin, I'll send that over to you. Give me a day or two. I gotta go find it. So Ron, send me questions. Awesome. Yep. Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully this call was helpful. And I think even going through Gary's website, I hope that helped too, using a real example. And again, that's not to break down Gary's website at all. He's done a phenomenal job because he listens, he does what he's told. I mean, I love working with people like that. So great job on just taking that action, Gary. So just some finer details that just maybe to consider. Again, if there's some stuff here that you just feel like, you know what, Adrian, I just feel like in Salt Lake, this is best. Definitely go with that. Go with your guts. Okay. So that's another thing. So here at Carrot, we just love sharing best practices and things that can help, but doesn't always make it gospel. So always trust yourselves too, guys, to make sure that you're trusting that, because you guys know your market a lot better. So there's just some simple stuff that I'll suggest. And see. Okay. So again, let me know if this call worked. If this call was helpful, and would love to know what you got out of it. And that's not for my benefit, but I think if you share with yourself what you got out of it, that reinforces what that thing was that you learned. Just by kind of acknowledging that. So let me know what you got out of this call. What's the number one thing that you took away from it, and hopefully that you're going to take action on. But other than that, I think we're good. I don't see any other comments come through other than TK saying, "What's up?" Awesome. Yeah, TK is awesome, man. He's got a chance to play some golf with him in Panama. That was cool. Playing golf in international golf course, I guess it is. So let's see. I have some people sending some questions, so let me make sure. Cool. Yeah, Gary, I always love our chats. So yeah, let's definitely talk, and would love to get more information on your PPC company too, as far as what they perceive, because I learned too. I always like to look at things from different angles, and obviously you trust them to do your PPC, so that right there alone is good. So it might be something that I learn from too. So all right, thanks guys. Love having you guys on the call. Love doing these calls. So hopefully you'll jump on next week. And if you are anytime you guys need help, just send through those questions through live chat. And remember, if you're a premium or you're a advanced marketer member, you have premium support. So anytime you send through questions, you get thrown to the top. So make sure you guys are utilizing that. And more importantly, when you need help, reach out to us. We're here for you. We want to see you guys crush it. We can't help you unless you're reaching out for help. So so love the fact that you guys are coming on this call to get that help. But if you guys need any other help, please reach out to us, and we're here for you. So anything we can do, just reach out, and hopefully we'll talk soon. And I will talk to you guys next week. All right. Have a great day, guys. All right. Bye-bye.